What up, decoders? Welcome back to another video. This is a live stream. Going to be a relatively short live stream, but I was watching some YouTube videos this morning and stumbled across a video by the channel Enter the Stars, and he shout out to him. He had made a video about this connection with Trump and uh, the Arc of Triumph, or the Triumphal Art or Arc. Sorry. Um, so this is the channel I was watching this morning, and if you guys are just getting in, please let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat. It says I only have 3 of you in here right now, but so yeah, I was watching this video by Enter the Stars. Make sure you guys go subscribe if you haven't. And I don't watch this channel. I just subscribed to this channel recently, so I haven't watched many of his videos, but he had made a video about this 5 years ago about a Trump connection to the Triumphal Arch, right? Or the Arc de Triomphe, however you say that in French. And of course, this is one of the most, recognizable monuments in the world. And it sits at the center of a big circle, and it definitely reminds you this is definitely a portal, okay? Like it's a portal, and this is the French one, right? But these are Roman architecture, and I want you guys to notice, in connection with my video last night, I was talking about Charles. Well, look at the name of the street that goes around the Arc of Triumph. Look, it's called Charles. So, like, here I am yesterday talking all about Charles, the Charles Code, and now this news breaks that Trump's going to try to build his own arc, and then I find out that the name of the street that runs through here is the Charles. I mean, come on. And remember, Charles Kirk just died. And this Trump announcement, well, first of all, let me just get back to this. Big shout out to, make sure you guys go watch this video from earlier today from Enter the Stars. He's going to go into a lot of different details that I'm not going to go into. But I wanted to make sure I give him a shout out because the inspiration for this video came from him. And so this is the video you guys want to go check out right here. And it's from earlier today. So with that shout out of the way, let's get into additional info that I wanted to add to this. And so we'll get back to the Charles thing in a minute, but I think it's just crazy that I was just talking about Charles last night. So remember, guys, these arcs, or these arches, right? They're like portals, okay? They're like the gateways to the cities, or the center gateway of a city, right? And they represent victory, of course, of the Roman empires, of the Roman military. In fact, if you just search Triumphal Arc, you're going to see there's many of them. But the definition of one is technically just a freestanding monumental structure in the shape of an archway, or a doorway, or a gateway, or a portal, okay? But yeah, I mean, if you read more about it, it goes back to the Roman architecture, right? So yeah, I mean, we could get into more of that maybe if this video ends up lasting a bit longer, but the point is, Trump has actually announced that he's going to be building one of these in the United States. And how crazy is that, really, right? And the word Trump looks a lot like the word triumph, right? And remember, guys, I was talking about October 15th last week because I told everyone, watch for this day, because we're going to get some sort of news story, I'm sure, that was connected to this day, because October 15th was exactly 8,800 days after 9/11, okay? 8,800 days after 9/11. And this is the day that Trump came out and announced that he would, again, it's just a triumphal arch, right? And so I was like, okay, well, this cannot be a coincidence, right? Trump on the 8,800 days, and look, it's supposed to have a gold Statue of Liberty on top of it. And just think about that, considering the golden age that he's saying that we're in. But everyone knows that Trump is connected to that 88, right? Back to the Future codes the 88 miles per hour because of Trump. Biff Tannen, who travels in time in that movie, he's based off of Trump, right? And in gematria, basic English gematria, the word Trump, of course, has that 88. 20 is the T is the 20th letter, R is the 18th, U is the 21st, M is the 13th, P is the 16th. That adds up to 88. So Trump announcing a gateway arch or a portal on the 8,800 days after 9/11, right? When Trump equals 88. Now, let me just type in. So the news was calling this an arc de Trump. So let's just decode that for a second. Let me bring up the base 2 ciphers of gematria. So they're saying it's an arc de Trump. Look at this. Look at the 119. Is the 8 equals 119, which is the 88th composite number. Okay. Again, here's arc de Trump. It's the 88th composite number, 119. Trump equals 88 and 47, right? Trump equals 47, 88. Arc de Trump equals 119 and 47, like White House equals 47, government equals 47, president 47. Okay, so president equals 47, like arc de Trump in the same cipher, right? And again, it's the 119 and 47 because the 119 is connected to the 88. It's the 88th composite. And yeah, so it's just crazy to me that that's the are people having trouble with the connection? People in the chat are saying there's a problem with the connection. I wonder why. It's back now. Oh boy. Okay, it's good now. So let me know if it goes out again. All right, so just to reiterate, the 119 is the 88th composite, right? And this announcement happened 8,800 days after 9/11, right? 8,800 days after the date 119, if internationally, you get this announcement, right? And the arc de Trump equals 119, the 88th composite. So that's crazy. Now, remember, this is all about portals. In gematria, the word portals in reverse equals 88. And of course, portals are associated with time travel. In the movie Back to the Future, which again is all about Trump, It's 88 miles per hour, right, to go through the portal in time. So, but it gets even crazier because look, not only did they call this the Arc de Trump, Trump unveils a model of a triumphal arch 8,800 days after 9/11, right? Well, a triumphal arch equals Donald J. Trump. Look at this. I mean, Donald J. Trump, 888 in Sumerian, triumphal arch, 888, time portals, 888, time traveler, 888, and the Doc Emmett Brown from the Back to the Future, 888. Jesus, Messiah Jesus, 888. In Greek isosophy, the word Jesus is 888. So again, what is the odds of that? Triumphal arch equals 888, like Donald J. Trump, like time portals, like time traveler, and like Emmett Brown. And again, Emmett Brown is the time traveler in Back to the Future. And 8 is associated with the Ouroboros, or the going back and forth, the snake that eats its own tail. Time, the sun makes a figure 8 in the sky. The Ra is the 88th element, radium. Ra is the sun god. Ra is 88, the element. The sun helps us tell time along with the moon. So this 88, 888, I mean, it's all over, and it's one of the most important numbers there is, essentially. So Trump is going to build his own triumphal arch, and he announces that 8,800 days after 9/11, okay? Now, it'd be interesting to see what happens 8,808 days after 9/11. If we go to 9/11/01, and we go 888 days, it's actually going to be the 23rd of October. So on the 23rd of October, it's going to be 8,808 days after that 9/11 event. Yeah, I did miss some 888s in there. Joseph is writing them in the chat if you guys want to see. There's more 888s, but I didn't want to throw every single. I didn't have the patience to go through every single one, but I wanted to hit mainly on the time travel ones because this is all about portals, all about time travel. I mean, people, and it's not a coincidence that tomorrow they're going to have the No Kings protests again because Trump is doing this outrageous stuff. He wants to build something called the Arc de Trump in Washington, okay? And like he's acting more and more like a dictator as time goes on. And yeah, think about Hitler, right? HH, Heil Hitler, right? HH, 88. H is the 8th letter. So is it a coincidence that phrase, when you say that to Hitler, Trump is now becoming more and more like Hitler every day? Yeah, not a coincidence that the HH is the 88. So yeah, Donald J. Trump, 888, triumphal arch, 888, time portals, time traveler. I mean, what's the chance that all these things equal 888? The Art of the Deal, Trump's book, also equals 888, like Joseph said. And Mar-a-Lago equals 888. That was rated on 88. But here's where it gets crazy. It's all about the future, guys. Portals to the future, right? Look at this. Look how perfectly this announcement is connected to the family of Trump, and specifically the younger generation of the Trump family. Look at this. If you go 888 days from the announcement, which was 8,800 days after 9/11, it lands on Barron Trump's birthday. But it gets one better, because if you go back 888 days from the announcement, it lands on Kai Trump's birthday. And Kai Trump's birthday is 888. Why is that? Because Kai Trump is born on 5/12. The number 512 is 8 times 8 times 8. Now, you guys got to say, this is pretty ridiculous. This is pretty crazy. The two youngest members, the most prominent members of the Trump family, align with this announcement by 888 days, and one of them, Kai Trump, is born on the date 5/12, which is 8 times 8 times 8. Okay? So it's just crazy to me that this announcement landed right in the center of these two. I believe this will be Kai Trump's 16th birthday, and 16 is 8 plus 8. So yeah, it's even better than that, guys. This was Kai Trump's 16th birthday. What is 16? 16 is 8 plus 8. Doesn't Kai Trump equal 88? Hold on. I can't remember. No. I thought maybe it equaled 88, but it doesn't. Kai Trump does not. But remember, Trump does. Trump equals 88. So her last name is Trump. That's the point here. So whatever this arch is going to be, whenever this is going to be put up, and he's going to supposedly try to build this thing for the 250th anniversary of the United States. And remember, the United States was founded in 1776, right? Well, let's just go to the calculator. 8 plus 8, or 888 plus 888 is 1776. So if you put all that together, this new monument in D.C., which is 888 days after Kai's birthday and 888 days before Trump's birthday, Barron. And if you add the 888 plus the 888, you get 1776. And we're talking about the United States here, the monuments of the United States, a new monument being put up. So let's look at this. Back to this. This is literally a portal. It's the center of the city. This is the one in France. Kai Trump is 18 years old now, but if you go back 888 days from this announcement on the 15th, it was her 16th birthday. It was her 16th birthday, right? She's 18 years old. She's 18 years old now, Kai Trump. And if you go and watch a lot of videos, you're going to see that she's very often with her grandfather. So, yeah, I mean, but so let's go back to the beginning of the year. Oh, and let's cover this Ace Frehley thing, because right after Trump announces he's going to build the Arc de Trump, right? The day after that, you get the death of the Kiss guitarist, whose name is Ace Frehley. Well, Ace Frehley equals 88, like Trump, right? And this guy is connected to space, of course. Yesterday in the video, we showed how this Ace Frehley, he grew up on 201 Street, and he died in the city with the 201 area code, and the moon landing was on the 201st day of the year. He's known as the Spaceman. Space, like traveling through a Stargate, right? Space, time continuum, portals. And then we found out Frehley was 27,201 days old yesterday when he died. And Trump, of course, he's went to the Jesuit school, The Jesuit number is, of course, 201. But Ace Frehley died 88 days after the moon landing. And Ace Frehley equals 88 after the supposed moon landing. I know people are going to catch me if I don't say that. So yesterday, anyway, right after Trump announces the triumphal arch, Ace Frehley dies 88 days after the anniversary of the moon landing, and Ace Frehley equals 88. Same cipher as Trump. This was 8,800 days after 9/11. Yeah. Now, Charlie Kirk, remember, let me see if I can find it again. The Triumphal Arch is circled by Charles Street. Charles Street, guys. Remember, Charles Kirk, his company, Turning Point USA, equals 88. So Turning Point USA has that 888, or that 88, and the one in France has this Charles connection. Okay, here it is, Charles. So it's been just crazy. Yesterday I was talking about King Charles and France and Charlie Kirk, and here's the same themes over and over and over again, guys. Charles everywhere. I mean, tell me what the odds are that this big monument, this arch, would be surrounded by Charles Street. Of all things they could have named it, right? Yeah, he was that Ace Frehley was 6660 days old on the moon landing. Yeah, we covered that yesterday too in the other video. But yeah, energy equals 88 in gematria. G's Messiah, or no, not Messiah. Occult equals 88. But yeah, it doesn't matter. The point is that this Charles thing, Charles Kirk, right? And so the American Triumphal Arch is going to also be on Memorial Circle. You see this circle right here. So this is where Trump is planning on building this. And look at this. Over here is the Arlington National Cemetery. And over here is JFK's memorial. So over here is JFK's memorial. And if you go across the Potomac, you see all the circles, guys? The circle. Rambo from on our Tuesday live streams has been talking about the circle. Kirk means circle, right? I just showed you that the Arc de Triomphe in France is surrounded by a circle which is called Charles Street. Okay, so is that a coincidence? We've been talking about the circle, talking about Charles Kirk. The Turning Point is the circle. His logo for his company, Turning Point, is a arrow turning around, going back in a circle. And now Trump wants to build this arch on Memorial Circle. And right across the bridge is Ohio Drive, which Ohio is the city or the state which starts with a circle and ends with a circle. Look, Ohio, it starts with an O, it ends with an O. Ohio Drive is right here next to Lincoln Memorial, which is also surrounded by a circle. Okay. And then across the bridge is Memorial Circle, where they're going to build the arch. Okay. 2 circles is an 8, right? 2 circles makes an 8. And so the other key part here is the bridge. Notice that this monument is going to be built at the end of the Lincoln Memorial, going across the bridge. And as soon as you come over the bridge, you're going to see the monument. Okay. So this should make us put us in mind of the Golden Gate Bridge stuff again. Remember, I've been talking about the Golden Gate Bridge. So the Golden Gate Bridge, when it opened on 88 numerology, okay? It opened on 5/27/1937. That equals 88, okay? When Trump announced that this memorial was going to be built on this other side of a bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge was 88 years and 141 days. This is pretty interesting because it's 88 miles an hour, right, to time travel. But in kilometers, 88 miles per hour is 141 kilometers. So the Golden Gate Bridge was 88 years, 141 days. And if you translate 88 miles per hour to kilometers, it's 141. How about that? Is that a coincidence? 88 miles per hour is 141 kilometers per hour. The Golden Gate Bridge just happened to be 88 years, 141 days. Now, when we're talking about miles per hour, we're talking about cars, right? Cars going over a bridge. In the third Back to the Future movie, what is the very last line in the movie? You guys remember, right? The end of the line is San Francisco. Now remember, this year, the Pope Francis, he opened up portals. Now, Pope Francis, St. Francis of Assisi, San Francisco, St. Francis of Assisi, okay? Pope Francis opened up 5 portals after he turned 88 years old last year. The last portal he opened up was this was a very rare occurrence because normally they only open 4. But last year he opened 5 portals, with the last one being on January 5th, and it was a prison. He opened a prison as he was 88 years old, and he did this on January 5th. Well, January 5th is the date that the Golden Gate Bridge construction began, okay? So you guys get what I'm saying there? Pope Francis, who's named after St. Francis of Assisi, just like San Francisco, he opened up the portal on the 5th of January, which is the day the Golden Gate Bridge construction began. And then he died, right? He died at 88 years old, right? And then he was replaced by Leo, like Leo the sun, like the sun makes an 8 in the sky, okay? And the same day that Trump announced his triumphal arch, Pope Leo was given a horse, right? He was given a horse, a white horse, like a pale horse. And then we had, again, Ace Frehley died at 8, and his name equals 88. It's just all pretty crazy here. Now, the name Ace, I want you to notice the letters that make up the name Ace. Ace, right? In English gematria, A is the first letter. Okay? A is the first letter. C is the third letter. E is the 5th letter. 135. The word ace can break down to 135. Well, 135, okay, 135 is Golden Gate Bridge. So look at his full name, right? Paul Daniel Ace, the Spaceman Frehley, 135. Like Ace is 135, right? Trump is going to build a Arc de Trump based off of the original one in France. Do you notice how the original one in France equals the same? This is what they call it, right? Arc de, this is the French version, okay? Look how it equals 135. like Golden Gate Bridge. Again, guys, I just did a video last week about how they released a song on Skull and Bones' birthday, or on Yalesville University's birthday, and it was all connected to the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm telling you, this Golden Gate Bridge thing never goes away, guys. It's such an important thing, okay? And there's a reason why this thing is being built. This arch that Trump's going to build is being built right on the other side of a bridge over the Potomac. Right on the other side. And but remember, Pope Francis, he opened that final portal on the Golden Gate Bridge anniversary of its construction. And if you go to the day that Trump announced his building of the arch, it was 9 months and 11 days. So it was a span of 9 months, 11 days after the portal was opened. That when Trump announced his arch, it was 9 months, 11 days after the Pope opened the portal. Now, the Pope was part of Rome, Roman arches, right? The arch, the Freemasonry, the arch. And yeah, considering that the circle that surrounds this is called Charles, it says right here, this construction began on this one in France on the Jesuits' birthday, August 15th. And it's located at Place Charles de Gaulle. So again, guys, like, I cannot get away from this Charles stuff. Like, really, what is going on? I forgot to even show, Joseph's actually making a good point in the chat. Joseph says that the full name of King Charles, Charles Philip Arthur George, is 135. So even King Charles has his full name has that 135. But this is a huge number too, guys. I mean, this 135 comes up a lot. And I don't think it's a coincidence that, yeah, the portrait of King Charles was on the 135th day of the year. Was that this year or last year? King Charles portrait. Well, yeah, King Charles' portrait was on Israel's. Okay, well, so if you go to the day, it was actually May 13th or what? May 15th. So it was the 135th day of the year, right? Israel was founded in 1948, the same year as King Charles. But notice that Israel was founded on the 135th day of the year because it was a leap year. So King Charles was born in a leap year as well. Israel was founded in a leap year, which means Israel was founded on the 135th day of the year. So that also ties to Israel. And as Joseph's saying in the chat, if you go last year to May 14th, which was the anniversary of Israel, that was the day that King Charles revealed his portrait, which looked like he was in hell, right? On fire. So there's that connection. But again, that just goes back to yesterday's video with all the Charles stuff. But I also find it super interesting that there's an Ohio Drive right here. Out of all the states, right? Out of all the states that they could have put here, they just put Ohio, right? And you know, there's like a root 66 right here. Charles equals 66. Trying to remember if there's other 135s. Don't forget Kobe Bean Bryant. You know, he has that 135. But that's not the most important number here. The most important number is that 88, which we've covered. Again, just to reiterate, this is the most wild part of this that I found. The 888 days after Kai Trump's birthday and 888 days before Barron Trump's birthday. So, and remember, Barron Trump, the 1800s, those books by Ingersoll and Lockwood, where they say it was the adventures of Barron Trump, right? They're like time travelers, right? Adventures of Little Baron Trump. I think Barron Trump is going to be a bigger figure in this world than we think, at least right now. But yeah, these books came out, of course, in the, remember they had the book called The Last President, and then the Barron Trump collection. So there's that time traveler here thing too, right? And Barron Trump is being conditioned, in my opinion, to be a pretty big figure on the stage. I don't know what's going to happen with that necessarily, but, and another thing I want to mention here is Christopher Lloyd. He's going to turn 87 on October 22nd. Well, when you turn 87 years old, it means you're starting your 88th year of life. I'm going to keep repeating that because the guy who's famous for saying 88 miles per hour is about ready to start his 88th year of life. I think that's a pretty big and interesting, it could be a very interesting thing to think about, right? And even if it doesn't happen until another year after that, he would actually turn 88 next year on October 22nd. So, and remember, Emmett Brown equals 888, like time traveler. And he was in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's interesting, considering we've been talking about the rabbit, Frank the Rabbit stuff. I mean, I just need to do a bigger look into this character because I don't think people have done enough looking directly into Christopher Lloyd being who he is. But yeah, that's something I'm going to look for in the future. But just to reiterate, he's going to start his 88th year of life. But yeah, I mean, this is super interesting, guys. I mean, with everything that's going on, all this 88 stuff, portals. But I'm going to start wrapping it up here. I didn't want to make it too long, but before I do, let me just check the comments and see if Sojourn just got up from a nap. Sounds like a good thing to me. I like naps. You're late. Did you miss the Back to the Future ad? What ad are you talking about? Did you see the Back to the Future Casio ad? I think it's new. Can you reiterate, or can you emphasize, or can you clarify what you mean by Back to the Future Casio ad? Naps are underrated. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but if you're still in the chat, can you please reiterate what you mean by that before we get off the stream? I would like to check that. Erica Kirk was born in 88. Yeah, thank you for reiterating that. Okay, so you're calling this a Casio ad. Let me just look it up. Casio goes back to the 80s for its Back to the Future calculator watch. It wasn't the first watchmaker to release a wrist-worn calculator. Let me see if there's like a video. Yeah, it was 3 days ago. I don't know if I'll get a copyright for playing this. I think I'll play it without the sound for now. I'll just play a little bit of it. Can you guys even hear that? You shouldn't be able to hear it, I don't think. Well, they just released this, so how perfect. 3 days ago, on Charlie Kirk's birthday. On Charlie Kirk's birthday. Like I said, there's music in here. I don't want to get my video taken down. So you guys are going to have to watch this ad on your own. But it's obvious that this is so this was released 8,800 days after 9/11. Look. It was released on the 14th. So if you add the date, it was released. So this was released 8,800 days after 9/11. Of course it was. Right there, October 14th. Casio UK, Casio. I don't know how you say that. Oh my gosh. Do I even need to say anything? Of course. It equals 88. Oh, my goodness. This is how you know it's not a coincidence, guys. You just do this live, and that's how you know it's not a coincidence. It could have equaled anything. And not only does it equal 88, it equals 47 like Trump and like time. Look, time 47, Casio 47, right? Look how time and Casio is a 2-cipher match, but it has that 88 like portals. Oh my. So yeah, it's and notice that, you know, I've always noticed this because my name Cody has that 4720 like time and Casio. But I mean, so you guys can watch the ad, but so here I am just saying, oh, look, guys, it's 8,800 days after 9/11. And now a brand called Casio releases a Back to the Future theme video on Charlie Kirk's birthday, and Casio equals 88. I mean, So we need to watch this trailer. I'm not going to watch it on live, but Dr. Savage, he's in the chat. Much shout out to him. 1015 was 161803 days after the Gregorian calendar was implemented. The golden ratio is 161803. And on that day, the Pope got a white horse. Yep. Yeah. So, guys, 814 and 815, 8,800 days after 9/11, a lot of things happened. Nothing big, like no big events, but a lot of events that are pointing to more future stuff, of course, right? Of course, Charlie Kirk's birthday, was the 14th. We got this Casio ad. We got the triumphal arch that Trump's going to build. We got the white horse given to Pope Leo. But yeah, great connection, Dr. Savage. That's amazing. Yeah, and big shout out to Wes. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel as well. We've been following the 70s. And horse equals 70. Pope Leo's currently 70 years old. Pony equals 70. White 70. So let's see. I just want to check out this ad a bit and see what's in there. So it's a watch and it's a calculator. Water resistant. I don't know. Does anyone see anything on the back of that? It looks like the well, heck, it looks like the what is that thing called in the Back to the Future? What is that thing? Man, I can't think of the name for this now. What is this Y shape? Man, what was the name of that? Goodness. Flux capacitor, thank you. That's what it is. Yeah, that's the flux capacitor right there. Oh, look, he sets it at 10:04. Look. Huh. I can't believe this. I can't believe it, man. 88 Casio equals 88. Of course, man. Well, guys, look. It's showing October 21st, 2025. Guys, what's going down on October 21st, man? Look, it shows the present date as October 21st this year. And they go back to 1955, November 12th. Well, that's the birthday of the Jesuit Superior General. Yeah, but you guys can watch this ad on your own time too. I'm going to get off here, guys. I didn't want this stream to go much longer. It's already been 50 minutes. Dr. Savage says gold was also up 1618.03 on the 16th. That's crazy. All right, guys. Well, take care out there. Joseph said he just posted a video. Make sure you guys go check out Joseph's new video. Charlie Kirk in the mirror on his ceremony. Really? Okay, go check out all the other videos. Make sure you subscribe to all the channels that I presented here in this video. And we'll see what we get in the next few days. But have a good rest of your evening, everyone. And we'll see you guys in the next decode. God bless.